Hi, welcome to Quilting with Lori. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I'm going to be focusing today on just a couple of fun techniques on binding. What I'll do today may be new to you and maybe it's something that you've already tried, but I wanted to share it with all of you. There are some fun and interesting techniques, and it's always wonderful to be able to add some interest to our quilts when we're binding them. Last week, if you watched my Crumb Crazy quilt tutorial that I provided, I showed you a particular quilt that I had finished. It's my Crumbs on Point quilt, but I had not yet bound it. And I had found this really jumbo red rickrack in my stash. And I decided if I had enough, I wanted to actually bind my quilt and incorporate this rickrack on that crumb quilt. So today I want to share with you just a couple of different ways that you could bind your quilt. I am going to use rickrack and bind a quilt using rickrack, so I'll show you that. I've also done some quilts with the faux flange binding, and I'm going to show you those quilts toward the end or toward the middle of this video, so stay tuned. And then the third thing that I want to share with you is a wonderful new tool that a friend of mine has designed, and it's for binding your tools. It's a binding miter tool. And I want to share that with you. This is really exciting to me. My friend Jeanette Bussard, who owns a quilt shop, the Sewciety boutique in Bluffton, South Carolina, has designed this, and she also has some YouTube videos that take you step by step through how to actually use this tool. It is a great tool. I hope that you'll check out her videos. I'm going to link the videos, I'm going to link her shop, and I'm going to link this tool out in the description box so that you can go directly out to her website and out to her YouTube channel and watch those videos. So make sure you check that out. You'll enjoy that. So the first thing I'm going to share with you today is how I'm going to apply this rickrack as I attach my binding. The rickrack that I'm using these are really old. They're from Wright's. They're a jumbo rickrack, and I have 3 packages. And I did go around, I walked all the way around my quilt with the rickrack to make sure that I'd have enough. And I'm just going to have enough to actually get rickrack on this quilt. So I'm very happy about that because I don't think I'd be able to find another rickrack with this same dye lot, because I'm sure that these that I had in my stash are numbers of years old. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. But first, it's important with the rickrack, especially a bright red color, that it gets washed and dried, because there's going to be some shrinkage. Or if I should wash this crumb quilt in the future, which I'm sure I'm going to, this red dye could bleed into the quilt. So I went ahead and put this in on hot water wash with some washcloths in a little a laundry bag. I washed it and then I dried it, and now it is ready for me to be able to place on my quilt. So this is the quilt that I'm going to bind, and this was the Crumbs on Point. I have a pattern for this. It's out on my website. I will link that below. I also have a full tutorial that you can watch. In fact, I have many tutorials on crumb quilting and the different designs that I have done. So you can certainly watch that playlist, which I will also attach, and it will give you some great ideas on crumb quilting. And this particular quilt is set on point, so you see the setting triangles and the corner triangle here. And then I did use just a 1.5 inch wide outer border all the way around the quilt. Now, what I'm going to do is take my binding, which is the same Kona blue here. I'm using that same fabric. And I've attached them together as you normally would on the diagonal, and I will trim this excess away, and then I will open them all up, press them, and then I'm going to need to press the fabric or the strips, the binding, in half. Let me get it here so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'll press all of the binding in half. Personally, I like to use 2-inch wide bindings. Most people like to use 2.5-inch wide bindings. For me, I've always just enjoyed the 2-inch wide. That works best for me, but you use whatever works best for you. But this is 2-inch wide binding. Once I get these trimmed apart, get rid of this excess fabric, and again, all of this little excess fabric here, I'm going to be able to place in my crumb basket, and it can be used to make more crumb quilts. Remember, nothing has to go to waste. So I'm going to get this cut apart. I'm going to take it to the iron and press it, and then I'm going to be ready to start attaching the binding. All right, I have my binding ready to go. It is pressed and ready to be attached to the quilt. I have pressed it in half, right sides, or wrong sides together, excuse me. I've trimmed away all of this excess here, and this is what I trimmed away. I'll be able to use that in my crumb basket. So I'm going to put this in my crumb basket and use it for more crumb quilts. Now this is ready to go. Typically, when you attach a binding to a quilt, you normally would sew it to the front of the quilt and then wrap it around and hand sew it to the back of the quilt. In this case, I'm going to do just the opposite. I am going to go take this quilt to my machine, and I'm going to sew the binding to the back of the quilt. And then I'm going to bring it around, and that's when I'm going to attach the red rickrack with the binding and attach it to the top. And I will do all of that by machine. So let me, first of all, just take this to the machine and get this attached to the back of the quilt and get it sewn and mitered all the way around, and I'll bring it back to the table and show you what that looks like. All right, so I have my binding on my quilt. I sewed it on the back, and I pressed it so that it will come around to the front. And right now, I'm just using these little binding clips. I love these things. They're wonderful little clips. And I simply, first of all, I just went ahead and bound my binding to the front with the clip. And then I just started using my rickrack, and I just placed it in there so that most of the rickrack shows, but a lot of it is confined there too. And I'm going to stitch. I'm going to use this thread on the top of that. I'm going to do a straight stitch along the top of this. I'm going to use a royal blue thread on the back because that will match the back of this much better, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and do a straight stitch. And I've simply tucked this in there, as you can see, and then clipped it with one of these binding clips. And then when you get down to the corner, here's what I've done. So I've simply continued placing it in there. So I've got that one stuck on there so that it's holding the binding or the rickrack in with the binding. And then I flipped this, as you can see, and I've made my miter there. There's my miter. I think I need to give myself a little bit more rickrack over there. Let me put that, clip the miter. There we go. So that's how I've turned the corner right there. Let me show that to you again. All right, I've brought you closer so you can see this a little bit better. Here is what I have already attached with using these little binding clips. Love these binding clips. I just got these off Amazon. They're called sewing clips here, but I call them binding clips. You can get these at your quilt shop, Walmart. You can get them just anywhere, Hobby Lobby and so forth. So I've gone ahead and turned my binding to the front. I've clipped it, and now I'm tucking my rickrack in there, and I'm going to do a straight stitch using a matching thread on the top, on the very, very edge. So it's going to be an edge stitch here on this binding, which will not only attach the binding, but it will also attach the rickrack. And then down here where I had my corner, I simply brought my rickrack in there, and then I flipped the rickrack toward me. So now you're seeing the back end of the rickrack. And let me go ahead and clip that. And now let me do the miter. There's the miter. All right, so now there's the miter. Now let's finish putting in that rickrack. There we go. And I'll continue binding. And then I'll just keep continuing across the bottom of the quilt here, and I'll just go around and around. I'll probably do, I don't know, maybe 12 to 18 inches at a time. I'll get it all pinned, and as I stitch it, then I'll go ahead and continue pinning another 12 to 18 inches so that it's ready to go as I approach it on the sewing machine. Here I am at the machine, and I just wanted to share with you how I am butting these together. As you can see, I'm at the end now, and as I sewed all of this rickrack down, I did not sew the rickrack ends together. I simply placed them on top of one another and then folded the binding up and stitched it down. I'm going to trim away that thread right there. There's a thread that's bugging me, and I'll get rid of that. But that's how I went ahead and I just butted all the ends together and sewed them in. As I continued sewing the rickrack on, I stopped using these clips. It seemed to be easier for me just to go ahead and use my hands here at the machine and bring things together, placing the rickrack where it needed to be up against the edge, bringing my binding around, and then sewing for a few inches. So that's how I did that. The one thing I would recommend that you do, if you have the needle down option on your machine, that is really important, because with each time that you're stopping and moving the quilt, your stitches could get off, and you don't want that. So try and be very careful about always making sure your needle is down each time that you stop and make some adjustments. That way your stitching line stays straight. Here is the quilt with the rickrack. It's sewn into the binding. I really love how it turned out. It just really added something to the quilt. And I'll take a picture of it probably on the design wall here so that you can see that and add that at the end of the tutorial. But how fun that was, just a simple procedure. And as I mentioned, as I got sewing on the quilt at my machine, or adding the rickrack, I simply just continued bringing the rickrack to the edge, bringing my binding around, and stitching. I didn't even use the clips after that. And definitely use the needle down position if you have that option on your machine. That way your stitch line will stay straight. Make sure you're matching your threads, unless you want the contrast. But I tried matching my threads on the top and on the bottom so that that wasn't the thing that we saw. I wanted to make sure that what we're seeing is this beautiful red rickrack here. I really enjoy how it turned out. Now, I want to share with you some examples of the faux flange binding that I have done on some quilts. All right, I brought a few quilts here to show you the faux flange binding. This one is my Coming Up Daisies quilt. And the faux flange binding means that I have added a flange in there, but it's a faux flange. It's really a simple process. And I have a tutorial both on my website as well as a video tutorial, which I'll link below so that you can go out and find that. But you'll see that there's this beautiful accent color of fabric that I've added all the way around the binding. And it is really a simple process to add that. So I highly recommend that you try it. It's all done by machine. Again, you're going to be attaching your binding to the back of the quilt, bringing it around to the front. And this faux flange binding has been added, or is a part of the actual binding itself. And therefore, when you stitch it on the front, you are stitching on that little 1/8 of an inch colored fabric, and it creates this beautiful look here. So this one is Coming Up Daisies. This is a pattern that's in my Speedy Solutions patterns book. Here is a really fun one. I used templates, the tumbler templates. It's a flag quilt. And I just used simple tumbler templates to create this. And I really enjoyed doing some ruler work as well as some paisley, some custom quilting there. But you'll notice on the edge of this one, I have a nice red faux flange binding that goes all the way around that. So that's another one. And then here is the third one I wanted to share with you. This one is a blues quilt, and look at this. This one is using the white flange that accents or sets off that border. Let's see if you can see it better there. How fun is that? I guess you can see it even more over here. Just gives a real striking look on your border and adds some interest. And that's always fun. You know, a normal binding is typically what judges are looking for in quilt shows. So if you are making a quilt that is going to be sent off to be judged, you'll probably not want to use a faux flange binding. I have had the experience where in the different shows that I have presented quilts, they do not want the faux flange binding. So keep that in mind. But it's a great binding for a quilt that you just want in your home. It gives it some beautiful contrast. Plus, it's also very utilitarian. If you're making a quilt that's going to maybe to a college with a student or to a child, and it's going to be washed and dried and get a lot of use, a binding that's completely sewn on by machine is so much more durable. And this one is so pretty as well. So something to think about. So thank you so much for stopping by today to see just a little bit of interesting bindings and how you can accomplish that at home. I hope this tutorial has helped you. And don't forget, I have linked below tutorials on the faux flange binding, and I've also linked the tutorial and the information from Jeanette on this wonderful binding miter tool. I hope you'll check that out. I think you'll really enjoy that. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you like the content that I provide, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share my videos with your friends, family, and your quilting buddies. And do share it with your quilt guilds. I think that they would enjoy it, and I do really appreciate that. I'm trying so hard to get to 20,000 subscribers, so if you can help me with that, that would be a great blessing. Thanks so much. And until next week, happy quilting.